Good day, sir. My name is Jemarc de Asuncion, BS Marine Engineering 3A, under the College of Maritime Education of Northwestern University. And in this video, I am going to discuss the Annex 1 and Annex 2 of marine pollution. Sorry sir, sorry for the background noise kasi madaming mga bata na naglalaro dito. Kaya hindi ko din mapipigilan kasi ang kukulit nila eh. Okay, so let's get started. Oil tankers transport some 2,900 million tons of crude oil and oil products every year around the world by sea. So, Annex 1. Annex 1 stands for Regulation for the Prevention of Pollution by Oil. So, the Marpol Annex 1 is the first implementation made by Marpol 73-78 and one of the most important international marine environmental conventions. The convention was designed to minimize pollution of the seas from ships. So, what is Annex 1 Marpol all about? The Marpol all about is the affirmed objective of Marpol Annex 1, which entered into force on 2nd of October 1983. And it is to protect the environment through the complete elimination of pollution by oil and other damaging elements and to lessen the chance of accidental discharge of any such elements. So next is the causes of oil pollution. The causes of pollution is operation causes by bilge cleaning, tank cleaning, or operation causes by ballasting of cargo tanks, cleaning of cargo residues. And this is the pollution due to accidents. The pollution due to accident is the collision and grounding. So, next is the effects of oil pollution. So, what is the effect of oil pollution? Okay, so these are the effects of oil pollution. One is it blankets the surface, interfering with oxygen's exchange between the sea and the atmosphere. Next is oil sticks to the wings of the seabirds and they become helpless casualties of oil spillage. Next, oil may enter seawater distilling inlets and it may be deposited on tidal mudflats with detriment results. And oil on beach interferes with recreational uses of that beach. Next is many constituent elements are toxic and get into food chains. And the last effects of oil pollution is the heavier constituents of oil blanket the sea floor, interfering with the growth of marine life. We go now to the special area. So, what is the special area? Special area means sea area where for recognized technical reason in relation to its oceanographical and ecological condition and to the particular character of its traffic, the adoption of special mandatory methods for the prevention of sea pollution by oil is required. So, these are the special areas as per Annex 1. Number 1 is the Mediterranean Sea. Number 2, Baltic Sea. Number 3, the Black Sea. Number 4, the Red Sea. Number 5, Gulfs area. Number 6, the Gulf of Aden. Number 7, Antarctic Sea. Number 8, Northwest European waters. Number 9, Oman area of the Arabian Sea. And number 10, Southern South African waters. So we are now going to the control of discharge of oil under Marpol Annex 1 Regulation 4. So under this regulation, any discharge of oil or oily mixture generating from the ship's engine room or cargo spaces of tanker ship is prohibited, except when they fulfill the following stated criteria. All ships of 400 GT other than oil tankers and above sailing outside the special areas, the discharge from the machinery spaces is permitted if number 1, the ship is en route, number 2, only treated oil water mixture which is processed through an approved oil filtering equipment fulfilling the requirement stated in Regulation 14 is used to discharge the treated effluent mixture. Number 3, the oil ppm in the treated effluent without dilution must not exceed 15 parts per million. Number 4, the oily mixture being treated in the oil filtering equipment is only taken from the engine room and not generating from cargo holds. Number 5, the oily mixture is not mixed with fuel tanks or cargo tanks oil residues. And number 6, the ship is more than 12 nautical miles from the nearest land. So we go now to the certificates, plans, and paperwork under Marpol Annex 1. International Oil Pollution Prevention Certificate or IOPP. So the International Oil Pollution Prevention Certificate is issued towards the initial or renewal survey which states that the ship, equipment, systems, fittings, machinery, etc. coming under Marpol Annex 1 is compliant with the regulation. The validity of this certificate should not be more than 5 years, and the administration may decide to issue the certificate for a period of fewer than 5 years depending upon several conditions. If the certificate is on the verge of expiring and ship is still out at sea engaged in voyage, the administration may extend the certificate's validity so that ship can complete the voyage and come to a port where the survey can be done for renewing the certificate. However, the extension period should not be more than 3 months. So, the validity of the certificate may expire in the following condition. Number 1, relevant surveys not carried out under a specified period as stated in the annex. Number 2, if the endorsement is not done as per the requirement of this annex. Number 3, if there is a chance of plug for the ship to another plug states. So next, we are going to Oil Record Book or ORB. So oil record books are the important document which needs to be carried on board ship under Marpol Annex 1 on vessels of 400 gross tonnage and above, other than oil tanker and oil tanker ship of 150 GT and above. The ORB Part 1 is provided in all ships other than oil tanker of 400 GT and oil tanker ships of 150 GT and above must be provided with oil record book, Part 1 and Part 2, and for cargo ballast operation. Okay, so we are done now with Annex 1, so we move now to Annex 2 and let's get started. So, Annex 2 stands for Regulation for the Control of Pollution by Noxious Liquid Substances in Bulk. Okay, so what is Annex 2 Marpol by the way? So, Annex 2 is carriage of noxious liquid substances in bulk. Marpol Annex 2's Regulation for the Control of Pollution by Noxious Liquid Substances in Bulk sets out a pollution categorization system of noxious liquid substances. So, next is what is the main objective of Annex 2? So, Annex 2 addresses discharge criteria and measure for controlling pollution caused by noxious liquid substances or NLS carried in bulk. Annex 2 is applicable to ocean-going vessels and non-self-propelled ocean-going ships that carry NLS cargoes. This regulation limit at sea discharge of NLS residue. Next is what is Marpol Annex 2 all about as well as its brief history. So, Annex 2 came into force on April 6, 1987 and contains discharge of condition for 4 categories of noxious substance and requirements applicable to the construction and equipment of ships carrying such substances. Unlike oil, most chemicals or noxious liquids will mix with water and are not easily separated from it. The main principle of Annex 2 is to dilute cargo residues in seawater to prescribe limits depending on their pollution hazard and facilitate the distribution of discharge by utilizing the wake of the ship. The discharges are required to be made below the waterline and in such a way that the water residue mixture is retained in the ship boundary layer and carried after when en route to be distributed by the wake. Next is the basic principles of marine pollution Annex 2, and these are: number 1, safe containment of the noxious liquid substances; number 2, dilution of discharge; and number 3, limitation of discharge into the sea. So next, we move now to categorization of noxious liquid substances, and this is now the last topic. So categorization and listing of noxious liquid substances and other substances for the purpose of the regulation of this annex. Noxious liquid substance shall be divided into 4 categories as follows. So number 1, the category X, noxious liquid substances which if discharged into the sea from tank cleaning or deballasting operations are deemed to present a major hazard to either marine resources or human health and therefore justify the prohibition of the discharge into the marine environment. Number 2, category Y. The category Y, noxious liquid substances which if discharged into the sea from tank cleaning or deballasting operation are deemed to present a hazard to either marine resources or human health or cause harm to amenities or other legitimate uses of the sea and therefore justify a limitation on the quality and quantity of the discharge into the marine environment. Number 3, category Z. So the category Z, noxious liquid substances which if discharged into the sea from tank cleaning or deballasting operation are deemed to present a minor hazard to either marine resources or human health and therefore justify less stringent restriction on the quality and quantity of the discharge into the marine environment. Number 4, the last, which is the other substances. Substances indicated as OS or other substances in the pollution category column of chapter 18 of the International Bulk Chemical Code which have been evaluated and found to fall outside category X, Y, or Z as defined in Regulation 6.1 of this annex because they are at present considered to present no harm marine resources, human health, amenities, or other legitimate uses of the sea when discharged into the sea from tank cleaning or deballasting operations. The discharge of bilge or ballast water or other residues or mixture containing only substances referred to as other substances shall not be subject to any requirements of the annex. So finally, this is the end of the topic and I have now already discussed the Annex 1 and 2 of marine pollution and I hope that my presentation will be successful and I hope you enjoyed.